I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but I like it's new what you're telling me.
Caw. Welcome to State of the Pels. Jose Alvarado said, if you want it, I got it. Let's go. We're going to bring the panel in. If I can find the right button here. Welcome, everybody, to the broadcast tonight. I got 4 people with me. Well, 3 people with me. I'm the 4th one. We got we got Jacob from Pels Press. We got Dylan McNeely, and we got Chrissy, the lovely Chrissy, as always. I'm going to give the floor, though, to somebody to kick this thing off. We've been talking in DMs as this stuff's been going on. We got a little group chat. Somebody said they had a hot take. So, Chrissy, the floor is yours. Let's kick this off with something controversial, maybe?
It might be, and I'm not happy about this, okay? I just want to preface this and say I'm not happy about it at all, but I watch every game, every minute of every game. And my hot take is that the Pelicans offense is better without Trey Murphy.
Oh, okay.
And let me just say this. Now, I've looked up the stats. Trey Murphy's stats are incredible. Okay, he's great. That's not the issue. There's something that's not flowing as smoothly when Trey's out there as when he's not out there. You guys, remember when Trey was hurt and it was Herb starting and things just started clicking right and left. And then Trey doesn't play tonight. What happens? It's not cool. I don't like it. So what do y'all think?
I think you're crazy, personally.
I don't think that you're crazy. I think that you've hit something that's true, but I think it's worded a little bit differently. I think the Pelicans and the roster haven't figured out how to use Trey in the right way. And so when Trey is on the court, especially with certain lineups where maybe there are 2 other defensive guys and when a player can really glue on Trey Murphy, I think that they definitely have not found the best way to utilize him as of right now. Part of that's because he missed a lot of time. Part of it's because the team has never been as healthy as they've been this year so far. Obviously, knock on wood, fingers crossed. But I definitely think there's some truth to that statement that Trey Murphy has not consistently been a plus at times.
Dylan
Go, Dylan. Let me hear it.
Are we talking about the same Trey Murphy? Like I'm trying, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just like, okay, let's backtrack, guys. Let's pause for a second. The NBA is the NBA, right? And everybody is an NBA player, so we need to respect every team. But we played the Los Angeles Lakers coming off of a back-to-back after getting slapped by them in the in-season tournament. I think you would come in a little motivated, and that had less to do with Trey Murphy and more to do with our stars actually being stars. Secondly, we played against the Brooklyn Nets, who are historically an atrocious defensive team, and we came out on a scorcher. That we were shooting the same shots we've shot the entire season. They just went in. They just went in. It was there was nothing astronomically different about what you see from Trey Murphy versus this. The only difference is the shots that we normally miss, we made. The defense schematically. Okay, go ahead.
I know, and we've talked about this before in terms of who gives you confidence when they're on the court with you. And look, I just want to say this is no knock against Trey Murphy. He's a great player. I'm just saying, as we've talked a lot about, this team is so deep. What are the best lineups? And I'm just saying that I'm seeing things clicking. You guys, some of the stuff that happens on the court right now, the way it's flowing, and it just, I don't like it either. I'm just telling you what I'm saying.
No, I think the issue with that, the issue with that ideology, Chrissy, is you have to zoom in on the games, right? So we saw Jose turn into Super Mario. Like, when Super Mario eats the mushroom, by the way, that is, they were doing shrooms on that, and they didn't even know they was teaching us to take shrooms as kids. I see what y'all on, Mario. But anyway, he would like make himself bigger, and he was stronger, and he was faster, and it was harder. Jose went Super Mario, taking the ball from Jackson, taking the ball from LeBron, hitting shots. We saw that happen last night, right? That had nothing. I mean, last time I checked, Trey Murphy was never a plus on the defensive end. So it's not like, oh, since Jose's in, now we're no, and they don't even play the same position. Tonight, as I said before, We ran the same scheme. Took the same. CJ was taking the through the legs, crossover spin, through the legs, the ones that we would scream at him about. He took those same shots and they were scoop, nothing but net. So again, I think I agree a little bit with what Jacob is saying as far as the Pelicans struggling to ingratiate uh, Trey Murphy with the team a little bit because he just got back, but Trey Murphy is having a career high year, and maybe it's less about Trey Murphy and it's more about the Pelicans are really, really rolling and winning in multiple different ways versus just the one way in which we see Trey Murphy. I mean, you weren't lying, Chrissy. You did have a hot take, and girl, you came in with some Saturans, some
Yeah.
Louisiana hot sauce, and you just dropped it. I see you. I wish we had an emoji bomb or something in here.
To be fair, she said she didn't like the hot take. She was still going to drop it, but she said she didn't like it. I have a thought, though. I do have one thought. Do we think that, like, yes, they're rolling. Yes, Trey's been out. Something else I noticed, though, in the last 2-3 games is they've been running more of the same set over and over and over. They've been putting Zion in the high post and just running plays off of that, and that has unlocked a lot of things. We talked about sometimes winning is boring. If you run it over and over, it's going to get boring. But guess what? They're running things off of it, and it's working. So can we attribute it a little more to that than just Trey being out? Like, I think if Trey were in, you'd probably be seeing a lot of the same stuff, and it'd probably still be working, is my point.
Well, I think that the first thing I think about is you can't understate how important Trey is, because the last game that he played versus the Jazz, right? He played a bad game until the last 2 minutes when he hit those big 2 threes, right? Like he was 0 of 5, whatever it was, from the 3, and ultimately he hit the biggest 2 shots of the night, right? And so that was really, really important. But I think that you do get to a point where it's like you have like winning fatigue. It's why so many teams come off a championship and the next year they play really bad at the very beginning of the season because they're still trying to find their rhythm, find their whatever. A good example is the Los Angeles Rams when they won the football. They won the championship in the NFL. But I think that it's really interesting to see what different people's takes are. A guy that I really like is Mike Cyprian, Coach Sip Nola at Twitter. He breaks everything down. His new podcast, you should check it out. It's really awesome stuff. But he really gets to the nitty gritty, and he talks about that. He talks about how consistent sets and consistency to fans, when all you want is a Zion dunk or a BI, midi or something like that, you can get tired of the Herb cut layups. You can get tired of the CJ floaters. You can get tired of all these other different things. So I think that there is some fatigue when you want to be entertained, for sure, when it comes to the basketball realm stuff.
I think that has a lot to deal with the team as well, though. You brought up the Los Angeles Rams and winning the Super Bowl. That team was a very old team, and Odell Beckham had tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. And Odell Beckham was also one of their top receivers. And I think their other number one receiver was also down for the count. I think Keenan Allen. I think he was also down, so I could be wrong on that. And so that has a lot to do with that. But I also think if you look at the historically great teams, the dominant teams. But was that crazy that I went into a football?
No,
right
it just wasn't. It wasn't Keenan Allen. I didn't want to go further into it.
No, who was it?
It was Bobby Trees. That's what I'm gonna call him.
There you go. Okay. But anyway, if you look, it depends on the team, because the San Antonio Spurs doing their run, nothing changed from year to year. They came in and they dominated. The Los Angeles Lakers during their run, the Chicago Bulls during their run, the Golden State Warriors during their run. When it depends, the Denver Nuggets during their run right now that they're on. It depends solely on the team that you're talking about. If it's a team that's built around young guys, maybe. Like the Toronto Raptors, okay, you could say them, but then they lost the number one cog in the engine the next year, Kawhi Leonard. But I feel like for teams that really enjoy winning and really, really, you get that out in the summer. And yes, you may come out slow. And to your point, Jacob, you may come out slow, but guess what's going to happen? When stuff hits the fan, you guys know the words you could put there. you're going to revert back to what got you there. You're not going to revert back to worse than you were. You're going to revert back to what got you to that point that you were previously at. And sometimes, on most nights, that's better than the teams you're playing against, because that's what got you a championship in the previous season. I'm waiting for the Pelicans to get to that point where they run that ghost screen. I know the play. I'll call the play for you right now, Patty. The play they run is the ghost screen to flare screen for, if it's Trey Murphy, who Chrissy thinks is asinine for the team. I'm putting words in your mouth. I just did it. Or if it's for Brandon Ingram, and then they have two guys in the corner. And what Zion does is he has a choice. Either on the ghost part of the screen, he can drive directly to the lane because the defender shifts his legs and leans hard because he thinks the screen is coming. Or he can hit the guy who's setting the ghost screen a flare shot. That's the play that they ran consistently over and over. They ran that one, and then they ran my favorite thing, elementary basketball. They just ran a pick and roll with Brandon Ingram and Zion. And they
but even think like that piece of it though, like we're talking about. I think the excitement part is right. So like you look at San Antonio, right? Would you rather watch a San Antonio Spurs championship run, or would you rather watch the Warriors championship run? Right? Like, but sometimes consistent basketball is boring. Like, it just is.
No. But sorry to interrupt you, but you just said those were two different consistents. So the San Antonio Spurs consistent is Mr. Fundamental, beat you down, not out athletic you, but to smart you. The Golden State Warriors consistent is to shoot you out the gym. They didn't really dunk the ball. I mean, they had really no high flyers. They were just ultra skilled shooters on that team, and a psycho in Draymond Green. That's literally was their team. They had a guy who would rather be sitting with his dog by the beach in Klay Thompson, the number one shooter of all time, Steph Curry, an alien in Kevin Durant, a guy who will fight your grandmother in Draymond Green, and they just made it work. So I think, to your point, that's two different consistents. You can't really compare those consistents. If you bring up another team, we can keep going down the line. Every team you bring up, the consistent might not be the same, but they have something that they rely on when stuff hits the fan. That's all I was trying to say. And I just am waiting for the Pelicans to have that thing. What is their bread and butter? I like to believe it's the BI, Zion, PNR game. You can revert it. You can have Zion on ball running PNR and BI setting the screen. There's multiple different things you could do. But to your point, so I can stop talking, we could progress the conversation. I think the consistency point is based on the team and what their consistency looks like. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think that the really one of the awesome things that we saw tonight was a development, and we'll see what happens once they play kind of a more of a team that's kind of to their caliber. As I mean, they're sixth in the West right now, one game back of fourth, right? And they play tomorrow night against the Timberwolves, and then they play the Clippers coming into town, and a couple other teams that are playing pretty well. But the tough thing, I think, is like we were all really tough on Willie Green. His rotations worked really well. It didn't look like his sets were developing. It didn't look like the offense was really being bought in by the players for various different reasons. And we all had questions like, what is Willie Green going to fix this? I thought this was why Borrego was brought in. All these other different questions. And to be fair, over this little win streak that we have the past 3 games, we have seen those develop. And that's a really, really encouraging sign. It started at the end of the Utah game where we did see in the final in the clutch moments, we saw the BI Zion pick and roll to Trey Murphy with CJ in the corner. We saw that. And since then, those type of flare screens and sets and ghost screens and more of a motion type offense has really seemingly started to pick up more steam and been a staple of the past couple games. I really hope that once we start playing in January, the rest of January, because we have a really tough schedule, once we start playing these games, I hope it stays, and I hope that they buy into that consistency on the offensive side of the ball, because we saw tonight how quickly, if you buy in, you can get up on a team. And once you get up on a team, you should, if you continue to develop that system, continue to be able to keep that lead onto the third, fourth, and ultimately to win the game.
Speaking of consistency, Herb Jones. Can we show him some love? I mean, the last couple nights,
So
shooting the
great.
lights out. But I
Mhm.
wanted to bring it up because I want to get thoughts. Jacob shakes his head. I don't know if that's a good shake or a bad shake. I'm gonna just drop the mic and let y'all talk. But I'm starting the combo.
I'll kick it off and say Herb has improved more than I think most people were expecting or knew. I mean, his 3-point game has really improved. Him finishing at the rim has improved. And then you got this great defender, and you're just like, this guy is the full package right now. So I think, personally, to me, I think that has caused some issues in playing time for Herb versus Trey, because not that Herb is the kind of 3-point shooter that Trey is, but man, he's making it tough on Willie to decide, who to give minutes to.
I want to know why Jacob shaked his head. The floor is yours, Jacob. Jacob, talk to me.
I think that Herb is good at basketball. I want to say that. I think Herb is great at basketball. I think Herb is really, really great at basketball when he's playing defense. I think Herb is more developed than Dyson. I want to also say that. But I think that more often than not, offensively, they kind of wash each other out in a game, right? So, like, tonight he had 14. The night before he had 13. And all before this, the past couple games he's had 6, 4, 6, 7, 7, 2, 11, and 6, right? So, like, he's not a guy that you're going to consistently look at to, like, hit shots or consistently look to make plays. You have him on the court because of his defensive availability and what he can do, right? And if he hits shots, it's a plus. I think that I'm happy he's hitting shots, but it will never be something that I am just like, when he shoots a shot, I'm not like, oh, that's going in, if that makes sense. This year he's shooting 32% from 3. Like, that's okay. It's below league average. It's fine. I'm glad that he hits them sometimes every third shot. I'm glad he hits one. But ultimately, at one time I believed that his offense was the key to the success of the whole, and I don't believe that anymore. I truly don't.
I think I go ahead, Patty. You got something? Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say that's fair. I was just gonna call out tonight specifically. Well, the last 2 nights. I mean, he's just looked so much more confident, and I'm wondering. It's probably just a hot streak, if we're being honest. But I'm wondering if that confidence continues, especially there was one play tonight. I think they were in transition, and I'm watching at the gym. I'm not going to lie. I'm sitting there looking at my phone, and I watched the ball get kicked to him on the wing, and he just he steps into it and pulls it without hesitation with probably 18 seconds left on the shot clock. And my mouth dropped. I was like, did he really? And then it splashes it, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, is this the Herb Jones we're getting? What is happening here? So that's why I had to bring it up. I'll let you give your thoughts though.
I think so. Jacob, I agree with you that Herb Jones' offense won't win or lose the game, but I also think that when he's offensively as productive as he is, it makes the game easier for everyone. Because one thing about Herb Jones is you never have to worry about him bringing it defensively. He's going to give it to you defensively every single night. And the nuances of basketball that your star guys your second tier guys don't want to do, guys like Herb Jones make it possible for you to be effective because he covers a multitude of mistakes on defense. And so I heard someone say it's a hot streak. I think you said that, Patty. I would like to say the opposite, because when we started the season, Herb Jones was on fire. He was on fire to start the season. I didn't even pull up his stats. One of you could. But there was a moment at the beginning of the season where everybody's like, Herb Jones is the most important person on this team. I don't care what anybody says. Herb Jones. But then he went through that lull moment, and also our minds were tricked into thinking Herb wasn't as important as he is because Willie stopped playing him as much. Before he just went on his hot streak, Willie started pulling him out in the fourth and so our brains started thinking, oh, maybe he isn't that important. But now that he's back in the rotation, well, he's not back in the rotation. He never left. He just wasn't in the fourth as much. Now that he's hitting his shots, he's back in his rhythm. Now I like to believe, I don't think he's going to hit this amount of threes every single night. You would hope that he's a gifted corner 3-point shooter. That's all you need, really. Just sit in the corner, hit your threes, and do what Herb Jones is gifted at is those cuts. He's great slashing to the lane off of the action of your primary players. Gifted at it. But if he can throw in a few corner threes, I like what I'm seeing. I mean, year over year, he's developed more and he's scored more and taken not more shots. I mean, I'm looking at it now. He went from 6 points his rookie year to 9 to 9 to 10 this year. I mean, and his percentage the same. His shooting percentage from 3 the same. The only thing that's went up is his free throw percentage. That means that he's either taking more shots and making it more. I don't know. But what I do know is he's being more efficient with whatever he's taking. And so I like to think that we are, although it might be minimal progress, we're still seeing some progress in Herb Jones' offensive game. I don't ever think he'll be the guy that's putting the ball on the ground, crossing you up and doing. No, I think he's a lunch pail guy, a guy who gives you what you need on a night-to-night basis, scores when he'll get that extra rebound, he'll defend the top guy that you need him to defend. But for the most part, that's really what he's out there to do. And the main thing he's out there to do is to cover up your primary player's mistakes on defense. So while I do agree we won't win or lose on his offense, I think when we do have with him going offensively, it makes it borderline impossible to beat the Pelicans, because now you have to worry about an entire starting lineup going for 15 plus, because I'm not going to say 20 plus, but 15 plus. That's just my opinion.
You know what's a crazy take? And I will say this like Chrissy go. I wish this is tough. This year especially, not the past couple of years, but this year especially, I wish Herb Jones was playing as well on offense as Najee Marshall was. And last year, that would have been a crazy take. But this year, Najee's shooting almost 40% from 3. That brother is knocking it down from deep. And if Herb Jones can ever get to 35% consistently from 3, his $50 million contract is going to look fantastic and be one of the best contracts in the league.
Hold on. How about you don't think – hold on. You don't think that contract is the steal of the league already?
I don't know. I'd have to look at all the contracts, to be honest with you. But off rip, I don't. I think there's a good contract.
Oh, I love you, Jacob.
I think it's a good contract. Yeah.
Chrissy, pop in here. Give your thoughts you're about to give.
I was just gonna say that when Herb is hitting shots, even if it is only 1 in 3, okay, look. Former 3-point shooter here, 1 in 3, I'm feeling good about myself. So when Herb is even doing that, it's opening up so much for guys like CJ, BI, Zion, because you have to suddenly respect that player offensively. It's not just like, oh, he's out here for defense, but now you've got him on both ends of the court. So even just in the way he's hitting them, from a season standpoint right now, I think that it's been very helpful for the team overall.
Fair enough. I love it. All right. We can move on. I want to do something. Streets is talking.
Here we go.
I didn't have anything specific, but I did do a little digging. Streets is talking, man. They said Jordan Hawkins might have to go back down to the G League to find the shot. What happened tonight?
Tough.
I didn't say it. I'm
Tough.
just the streets said it. So I want thoughts. Dylan is smiling.
All right, I'm going first before Dylan, because Dylan this is what I'm going to say. When you're playing on the roster and then you go to the G League, that is a mental mind game. That's what that is. So how's he going to handle that? That's what it is. And then tonight he comes out, it's like, all right, did you lose the self-confidence? What's up with that? All right, Dylan, just go. Just talk yourself.
No, I ain't got nothing. Listen, I am embarrassed. So I just wanted to hear y'all. This was not me trying to talk. This was me saying, as a Jordan Hawkins apologist, about shot number 6, I was like, Father God, I've seen what you've done for others. Would you do it again? That's all so I wasn't over here saying I need to say something. I was over here like, oh, yep. You know how like when you pass gas in public and you try and look around to see who saw it because you don't want to be embarrassed. That was one of those moments. That was like a look around, like I know they saw all these tweets I done put out about Jordan Hawkins and how you want it and two-foe and free Hawk, and so that was one of those. I ain't got nothing to say. Listen, I want to hear what y'all got to say. I want to
You
hear what y'all got to
froze.
say.
It looked like you froze. Like you
I
you
did
were
it on
so
purpose.
still.
I did that on purpose.
I was like, did he leave? Like, did he get that? Was he that tight over it? Did he leave? Listen, Jordan Hawkins is gonna be fine. All right, this is who he is. First of all, you thought he was somebody else. You were mistaken. He's a shooter. Shooter's gonna shoot. Shooter's gonna have a bad night sometimes. Like it happens.
Yeah. Talk to
That's
him.
it.
Tell what else you got for him, Patty. Come on, tell him something else.
He's a rookie. Like
And
he's
another thing, he had a career high in blocks tonight for the streets and y'all talking mouths. And
That is
another
wild.
thing,
That's wild.
and
That
another
is
thing,
wild.
you talking streets. If you looked at him on defense, street talkers, tonight, he wasn't even that bad tonight as he usually is.
I don't like the way you phrased that.
Listen, I gotta be honest. If I'm nothing else, I'm gonna be honest. I hold people accountable because I want y'all to hold me accountable. Jordan Hawkins, I believe his ceiling, as the great Michael Jordan says, what did he say? The ceiling is the roof. Didn't he say something like that? This man's ceiling is insane. I shouldn't have brought up Michael Jordan. Shoot. But anyways, as I was saying, as the great Allen Iverson said in an all-star game to LeBron James, he said to him, "You're going to take about 30 shots anyway, get the all-star MVP. He ain't nothing but 16. He was talking to LeBron James. Listen, this was Jordan Hawkins, LeBron James night. And Brandon Ingram, Allen Iverson, Jordan Hawkins. He say you're going to take about 16 shots anyway. He ain't nothing but 19. So that's all I got to say. Free Hawk, man.
It's time
Free
to
Hawk.
keep it moving. You done compared Hawkins to Michael Jordan and LeBron James in the same minute and 30 seconds. I love Hawkins. Pump the brakes.
I didn't compare him to Michael Jordan.
They were all in the same sentence. He also said his defense wasn't as bad as it usually is. I'm like, what?
He should have been in the vicinity. My bad. I'm sorry.
Six in the next 7 games against playoff teams in the West right now. And the 7th is actually the Warriors. So, I mean, you might as well consider that a playoff team. How do we see this stretch faring out? Tomorrow's a back-to-back against the Timberwolves. We've had their number, but they're the number 1 seed. So, like, what are we thinking there? Let's give our thoughts on that. Dylan was just talking. Jacob, jump in.
I think that you're 20-14 right now. I think after these next 6-7 games, right? I think if you're 23-17, I think you're really happy. Like Minnesota tomorrow night's a tough game. LA can go either way. Sacramento's playing really well. De'Aaron Fox is insane at basketball. Golden State doesn't look as good as they are, so I'm hoping that even if we hit a skid in the next couple games, you can pick one up there. Denver's going to be Denver, and then I imagine you'll probably split Dallas because split the Dallas series because, you know, typically that's kind of how that goes. But, man, I mean, if you can keep this win streak going into the next couple games, you feel really good. But I think realistically, like, the West is so good right now that you really just want to get to a spot and pretty much stay there, right? Like never too high, never too low. And you want to start hitting your stride kind of, you know, February, March, you know, that's when you really want to press. But like right now, you really just want to do your best to stay healthy, tread water, win the games that you're there in, and the games that you're not, be able to prepare for the next loss. And that's really like coach speak and really gross and not like a fun podcast thing, but like realistically, like that's really what you want to do. Like you don't want to drop 2 in a row here because 2 in a row can become 3, 4, 5 in a row very, really quick. And you're in a good spot. I would argue that we are in a better spot now than we were last year when we were first in the West, simply because we have less eyes on us. There's less of that pressure, and obviously we're healthy and everything like that, and that kind of goes without saying. But we're in a better spot. Our schedule kind of has been consistently difficult, easy, difficult, easy, difficult, easy. So I think that we're on a really good path. I think it is just about making sure you hit your stride at the right time. I think we're setting ourselves up to make sure that February, March is really when we're hitting our stride.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about how like in December you don't want to be peaking. Like that's not the time to do that. Anyone that does that, they don't make it very far. So I totally agree with you, Jacob. Like if we can go 500 over this stretch, like where we're playing these really good teams, this next 6 games, we're on the road. Like even tonight, we got to go to Minnesota. Tonight we play tomorrow, and then we come right back and we play at home against LA, good team. So yeah, I'd like to see a split, and if you get lucky, maybe you go 4-2, and you're feeling really good about things. So
I mean, if we go on a run, I'll be talking ignorant. I promise on Twitter. Like if we hit quick 9-0 little run right here, it's going to be ugly for a lot of Pels Twitter. But man, I mean, there's that possibility. I think the way they're playing right now, there is that possibility to hit a run really really quick before before we get or while we get through this really really tough stretch.
Yeah.
Ditto everything everybody said. I'm at the same place. 100% agree.
Yeah. Everybody hit on everything. I was thinking almost every one of the games is on the road, so that adds difficulty to it. 500, I'm ecstatic, to be honest with you. So we don't have to spend too much time on that. What else we got? Anybody got any thoughts or questions, or you want to close it out with closing thoughts?
I think Jordan Hawkins is going to be fine at basketball, but I think the Pelicans have not done him especially tonight, but like I think that he needs to stay up and continue to get reps. He needs to have the 3-13 games. He does. Like shooters need that. JJ Redick on his podcast talks about how shooters need to fail to be able to know what part of their shot is not working that night, right? And be able to make those adjustments in game, right? Because that's the big thing for Hawkins is like, JJ, I think he was talking to Cam Johnson. It might have been somebody else, but he was talking to somebody and they were talking about the little things that you find out in a game that where your shot is not hitting, where it's not falling, and what you have to do in that game and be able to like play that almost chess game with your body while you're shooting. And Hawkins he's technically not a young rookie, but he's well enough a young rookie, right? And so he just has to realistically be able to learn his body, learn his shot mechanics, and learn what that looks like on the NBA stage. He's going to have some absolute stinkers. I guarantee you, if he gets more playing time, he will have a worse game than he had tonight throughout the next season or two, right? And that's okay. Hawkins will be fine. But the thing is not losing confidence, right? Not everybody's going to make a huge impact like Keegan Murray did, his rookie year. Keegan Murray was a freaking flamethrower his rookie year, right? But this year he's kind of gone back to the media and regressed a little bit. Still playing really well, but he's kind of regressed a little bit. So you just want him to get to a position where Trey is now. And Trey, we saw those baby steps with Trey, and you kind of want to do the same thing with Hawkins, and he'll be fine. If anybody's freaking out about one performance, like that's ridiculous. If you're replying to Dylan in quote tweets, that's absolutely okay because I understand it and I agree.
Listen. Okay, I'm not going to keep it long. I'm going to keep it short when it comes to Jordan Hawkins. Just keeping it simple. Keegan, the issue with the Keegan Murray thing is Keegan Murray came in and was playing starter minutes. And Keegan Murray, I mean, he started in the playoffs. I mean, his position was relatively solidified because he brought something to that team that they lacked. They didn't have a bona fide shooter outside of Kevin Huerter, and Kevin Huerter was the 2, if I'm not mistaken. And they brought Malik Monk off the bench. So this is my thoughts on the Jordan Hawkins situation. I don't think anybody in our fan. I think if you listen to Antonio Daniels on the call tonight, shout out to you, AD. What's up? You can hear him kind of like throw a little love towards Jordan Hawkins. He kind of, you could tell he's very much on social media, even if he doesn't post. And you could tell that he saw how much this fan base loves and fights for Jordan Hawkins. It's like Trey Murphy is like the Biggie of the fan base. Like he's like the popular guy, the golden boy. It's like, oh, we just love him. Look at him in his Coogee sweater. Whereas Jordan Hawkins fan base is like the Tupac of this thing. Like, we showing up West Side, yay, just all ignorant, saying crazy things. This, the next, it's just insane. But one would say that according to culture purposes, Tupac was more important than Biggie. I'm not saying much, but I'm saying a lot. Jordan Hawkins has the ability to affect the game if given the opportunity in a way that few can on this team. Because if he's shooting, he'll shoot from half court like Trae Young. But at the same token, he also has that quick twitch muscle that Trae Young doesn't have, where he can get to his other spot very fast and hit you with a mid-range shot. And then he is a great rebounder for such a small guard who's come out and publicly said, and I'm going to shut up and keep moving, publicly said the one thing he needs to add to his game is strength. So to echo what my guy Jacob said, if you're worried about Jordan Hawkins after one performance, you're going to get sick of me and you might want to block me tomorrow because you're going to free the Hawk all day and tomorrow. Two folks stand up.
Man, Jordan Hawkins better than Trae Young too. You heard it here.
No, I did not say that.
You said it.
I'm sick of. I said Trey Murphy first off. I didn't even say Trae Young, and I didn't even say he was better than that guy.
Oh, I thought you said Trae Young.
This is why you can't mess with these. See, these people on the
note,
they don't mean you know. Chrissy, you're the best part of the. Chrissy, you're the best, but don't include yourself in this, Chrissy.
Hold on. I just want to repeat what you said, and you tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, you tell me.
Tell me. Okay.
You said he can pull up from half court like Trae Young, but he's also got the fast twitch to where he can get to his spot. Right? Didn't he say Trae Young in that spot?
I meant to
or did I mishear him?
Murphy. I meant to say, Trey Murphy is still figuring out his handle, and you don't really see Trae Young. I did say Trae Young because I just made a mistake and said it again. Sorry. Okay. You don't really see Trey Murphy shooting mid-range jumpers. Am I wrong in that assessment? No. He has that in his game already year one. Just wait on it and let him develop that confidence, and you'll be looking at him saying, all right, this is something different. Okay. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm glad I called you out because it allowed you to clear that up. It allowed you to clear it up. Because for me, I was like, damn, you saying he's better than Trae Young. All right, cool.
I didn't mean that.
We're going to put that out.
Do you realize, this is going to start something else, but I think that
talk about it. Talk about it. We got time.
I think Hawkins reminds me more of Jordan Clarkson than he does like Trey Murphy.
Are you talking playing style or what?
I think it's just how they look when they play basketball. They're both really thin guys. You know, Clarkson's been a really, really thin guy for his whole career. They have that really weird, quick twitch type muscle, and it's just a weird. I don't know. I mean, Hawkins is not going to become just some like 230-pound absolute bruiser at 6'6". Like, that's just not going to benefit his shooting style. But like the way when you watch Jordan Hawkins, especially on some of his pull-up stuff, you're like, oh man, at least I am. I'm like, man, that looks a lot like Jordan Clarkson. And Jordan Clarkson had a really good career. I'm not saying this, that, or the other about anybody.
Yeah.
But like, I think that if you take his game, because even Jordan Hawkins believes that he is more than just a shooter. He said that coming in. He said, I've got a mid-range. I'm more than just a motion shooter. I've got more to my game, right? I'm not saying he's going to be Jordan Clarkson. I'm not saying he's going to be Trey Murphy or whatever. But I do think that specializing just shooting or expecting just shooting from him might be where I'm changing my mind on him. I don't know that I'm like, oh, man, I think that he's got an absolute burner. I want him to shoot a million shots I don't want him to shoot 7. I want Trey Murphy to shoot 7 3-pointers. I don't know right now if the best path forward is to get Jordan Hawkins to shoot 7 in a game.
Oh, I'm taking Jordan Hawkins shooting 7 in a game. Any game he wants. And you know what? Like tonight, if he's going to have a stinker, do it in a game like this when it's not even close. Like, I don't care. Just keep firing away till you get your rhythm back because it's a little off right now. I'm okay with that. And Herb Jones said after the game tonight in the press conference, he said that they are lucky to have a deep team the way that they do. And he literally said it's a luxury. And he's right. Like, it's a luxury, but it's tough as a coach because you have to figure out, am I going to put Jordan Hawkins in or am I going to put Trey Murphy in right now? Now, it's easy when Murphy's hurt, but But I'm taking Hawkins shooting 7 if he's in the game. Go for it, buddy.
I just don't think, and I know Patty, you're trying to wrap this up. I think the idea of Jordan Clarkson's game being like Jordan Hawkins' game, you first off have to look at them as rookies, right? Did Jordan Clarkson come in the game playing the way he's playing now? No, he did not. If you watched him in the Los Angeles Lakers uniform, he was a completely different guy. He was not the guy who will just spark up and just score. He was not a lighter scorer, if that makes sense, like microwave scorer. There you go, microwave scorer. He wasn't that. He was more of a, people thought, hey, this guy can have a different type of game. But as his career developed, he fell into a niche of sorts. He was never shooting threes like this. Jordan Clarkson shoots threes when he's got it going. Like he does his thing is cross through the legs, cross through the legs, get to Jordan Hawkins stepped onto a basketball court as a rookie out the gate and said, no matter what, I'm about to shoot this thing. I think those are two totally different players, because I think if Jordan Hawkins were to fall out today, he would relegate himself to a moving 3-point shooter. Whereas Jordan Clarkson, if he fell out when he was a rookie, he would relegate himself to a in between, getting to the basket, mid-range guy. Their trajectories are two totally different. You're building off of two totally different things. In college, their games were two totally different games. So I think to compare those two is a little unique, because if a team were to try and put those two guys in a spot, you wouldn't put Jordan Hawkins in the microwave shooter spot. You would put him as the coming off a screen, quick shot 3 guy, coming off, quick shot 3. He would be more of a JJ Redick than a Jordan Clarkson if you were to force him into a spot. That's why I was just kind of like, I didn't expect the Jordan Clarkson take. Now, I get where you're coming from, because he shoots the ball with that quick twitch, just like Jordan Clarkson, just like Marcus Thornton, just to take it back. And just like, so we could bring, you know who else has a quick twitch on the flip side of it? Steph Curry. Just that quick twitch to the, like, you can have a up and a down of both. So I think to kind of relegate him to a certain individual and to say that's who I need to expect from him, that's tough for a guy who, as Chrissy said, is dealing with and, trying to find his way amongst the team that's probably one of the deepest teams in the entire NBA. That's all I got to say about that. So,
fair enough.
I don't know.
All right.
Another quick answer from Dylan. Thanks for that, Dylan.
Listen, Chrissy. Listen, I like that. I got something good for the end thing. That was a quick one, was it?
Cool.
For me? No, I don't know.
It was close. It was quick enough. It was fine. You're a Jordan Hawkins fan. It's fine. I mean, we're all Jordan Hawkins fans, first of all, and he deserves a lot of the love. You just go a little harder with it, which is cool.
Dylan's got Hawkins stand burners for sure. No,
for sure. He's out there talking trash to people about him.
You got me.
All right, let's close it out. We're gonna give some final thoughts, closing thoughts. If you haven't watched this before, it does not have to be Pelicans related. Does not have to even be basketball related. Just whatever's on your mind, whatever you want to share to close this thing out. And if somebody's got something, go ahead. If not, I'll start.
The Pelicans should give 2 first-round picks for Kyle Kuzma. Thank you.
Interesting. I don't know if this is a debate situation here, so we should probably just keep it moving.
Chris said I talk too much, so go ahead.
Oh, no, I did not, sir.
I don't even want to get into that topic because we're going to be going for another 45 minutes probably. That is a bold one right there. We could have led with that. We'll talk trades next time. I'll go with mine because it feels like everybody's kind of flabbergasted, befuddled, all those words. Parenting's hard. I was sitting here thinking, man, like, I was like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say for this little closeout thing? Parenting is so freaking hard. I don't know. I say a prayer for any parents out there right now, whether you work from home, whether you don't. I know your kids aren't in school right now, or if they are, kudos. It's rough right now. Kids are bored. There's nothing to do. It's cold as heck outside. They can't go outside. They're acting up. Man, parenting is hard. So if you're a parent out there, I say a prayer for you. I take a breath with you. It's tough. I love you. Keep your head up. That's it.
I got one. To everybody out there that's trying to make it in something, don't celebrate, and don't chase the microwave success. Wait, be patient, and trust the grind and be yourself. Don't try and be anyone else. God made you for a purpose, even if you don't believe in it. And if you don't believe in God, you were made with a purpose on purpose. Stay committed to who you are. Be yourself. Don't buy the likes. Don't buy the tweets. Keep it organic because it'll come to you in the end. Love.
Love that.
Oh man, y'all's are like so philosophical. I was just gonna say I'm really, really thankful for the Pelicans right now because the Saints, unless a miracle happens, their last game is Sunday and they're done. And I don't have baseball season right now. I don't watch hockey. So sorry. But I got my Pels, y'all, and I'm excited. Friday I'm gonna be there at the game, and I'm thankful for my Pels doing good and being healthy right now. So happy New Year.
Heck yeah. I just want to point out, I know everybody saw it, but Jacob fist bumped when he heard the Saints season was over. Like,
Brother, we all know the best part of the Saints season is the off season. Like, let's be honest. They get to the postseason, I don't care. This next Sunday, I don't care. What I care about is what we're going to do in the draft. Let's be honest. I mean, what are we talking about? Best quarterback we've seen all year is Penix in the Superdome this past Monday. What are we talking about?
This ain't a Saints show, and we could talk about it offline, but I wouldn't expect too many changes there. Let's close this out. Thank you guys for joining us. Till next time, salute always. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. It's all love.